Thank you, councillors, for attending for today's ordinary council meeting on Tuesday the 17th of December. Attendances, apologies and approved leave of absence. We have an apology from Councillor Skender and a leave of absence by Luke van der Leur. Declaration of interest. Is there any declarations of interest, councillors? Thank you. But if you realise as we go through, once again, could you let us know straight away if you recognise that? Thank you. Public question time. Do we have any questions from the public?
Are we allowed to ask questions throughout, or is it at the beginning and the end?
No, you can only ask now.
Okay.
Questions taken on notice from a previous meeting. There are nil. Oh, sorry, I got that in the wrong order. Public questions. That's good. Confirmation of the minutes, councillors, of the ordinary meeting of council on the 26th of November. Councillor Kelly, thank you. Councillor Farina, thank you. Councillors, is there any debate, discussion or questions regarding those minutes? There being no debate or discussion, it's adopted unanimously 6-0. Thank you, Mrs Hill. Announcements by the President without discussion, that is nil. Presentations, petitions and memorials, we have nil. So, councillors, I refer you to the departmental reports, item 7.1.1. I have a mover, please, councillors. Councillor Kelly. And the second is Councillor B. Maslin. Councillor Kelly, I suspect there's going to be a bit of debate, so would you like to open the debate? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, this particular item deals with, mainly for us councillors, change in our starting times for the ordinary council meetings. I'm wholly supportive of it. One of the points to come out of our community strategic plan was a high level of transparency and education for our community, and I'm hoping by having a later kick-off that we will get a much larger crowd in our public arena. It might take half an hour to introduce everybody, but and the education piece is really important from a council, particularly myself as a reasonably new councillor. There are the rules, there's a red tape that we as a council need to abide by, that if you don't attend council meetings as a general public, you're missing out on. It's not flick a switch and it's all going to happen. It's all part of a process, and a lot of the process is underpinned by planning that we've done, i.e. the community strategic plan, our long-term financial planning, and of course the raft of changes that the government put on us as most recently as tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock to watch a webinar. So I know it is a change to our normal arrangements. I do know some councillors may have family commitments that make it difficult, but I guess from the community perspective, they're looking for change. We change. If it doesn't work, we can then go back to the drawing board and come up with something else. But a bit like kicking the footy for the first time, it does take a couple of kicks to become better at it. And once you get better, I guess we might get some public down watching us. So thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Councillors, before we go any further, I must note in this motion we need to add the word plus C, or add plus CIS after the agenda forum in each.
No, Mr. President, that's not a public forum.
Okay, sorry. All right. So, but we do need to change the council chambers to Bill's in Coral Bay, Bill's Tavern in Coral Bay on Tuesday, the 28th of October. Sorry about that. That was incorrect of me, but just for my own information more than anything else, I had that written there. So, if the mover and the seconder are happy about the change to the Bill's Coral Bay? Thank you. Do we have speakers against the motion?
Yeah, I'd like to move a foreshadowed motion.
Yep.
Okay, so my foreshadowed motion is to amend the current meeting time so that the Shire of Carnarvon meetings start at 9 a.m. on the Shire days. There's a 10 o'clock Coral Bay meeting in the morning. There's no overnight stays at Coral Bay. And the 10 o'clock is for the major projects meeting, and the council meeting is at 12. So it goes from 10 to 12, major projects, then council meeting. Agenda forums stay the same time at 8:30, but then launch straight into the audit and risk. So I suggest an 8:30 a.m. start for the audit and risk, and then a 10 a.m. for the CIS.
Can you give me that, please?
I'm going to go slowly, so it's basically Shire meetings 9 a.m.
So same day you would like?
Same day, just different times.
So the council meeting?
Council meeting 9 a.m. That gives Councillor Cottrell time to get here, all the way from Coral Bay. The ones in Coral Bay, because they're doing two, we're doing major projects and the council meeting. So suggesting 10 a.m. major projects and 12 p.m. council meeting. And then where you've got agenda forums in the morning and then having us come back in the afternoon to do audit and risk or whatever it is, we do
Through
the...
the chair, that's not what we have. That's the next day. So the agenda forum is at 8:30, and then you'll be doing the corporate information sessions, which is an internal council Shire meeting,
Yep, and then...
and you won't be coming back later in the day.
Okay, so they roll off the back of each other?
So where we had the council meeting at 5:30, we were doing the audit and risk or the major projects, alternating each month. They were happening at the 2
So-
hours before,
Got-
and then going into the council meeting.
Okay then, so we'll to move that then, so if you want to do it, change that to
10:30.
9, yeah,
Mm.
yeah, 10:30,
10:30, give us an hour and a half.
yep. So have you got that for the times? You got it? And the reasons are, why, is that if it ain't broke, don't change, don't try and fix it. Why? Well, you saw in Coral Bay at the last meeting about how many people turned up. 0. None. When there is a motion on the table where people feel affected, they will find the time to attend, as like our gallery has shown. We are also now live streaming to the public who are interested, and I'm sure we'll be able to get a tally of how many people are currently watching. Maybe. Anyway, besides that, we are the face of council and dealing with our constituents on a daily basis with the ratepayers. I mean, I know that Councillor Farina does when he's doing his rounds on the river, as myself, being having a main street frontage there in a shop. They're not always working in to talk about real estate. The President also has set Friday mornings aside to meet one-on-one, and the public also have an option to submit questions to council. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, people are time poor nowadays, and a certain sense of apathy also creeps in there as well, unless, as I've mentioned, there are agenda items that affect them personally. So basically, we've got the Coral Bay issue, which I don't know if you've, when I say issue, but did you come back with any costings?
Not at this point.
So quickly, around the costings of $400 a room or more at the current rate of what is available in Coral Bay, I don't think it's affordable. I think that also the overtime to staff, the overnight stays in Coral Bay with catering, dinner, breakfast, accommodation, this is not going to stand up to the pub test. And I don't want to explain to the ratepayer why we're spending in excess of 10 to 12,000 meeting in Coral Bay. The agenda for major projects, yeah, anyway, we've got that back to back covered. So I commend the CEO on an initiative which is going to be happening later on this afternoon, and this is why I'm suggesting we change it and keep the meetings pretty much similar as they are in the mornings. Rather than get the people to come to us, we go to the people by the way of community meeting.
we need to deal with the substantive motion. You've put that forward now, so
Mhm.
you're starting to get into almost debating.
Well, this is for the reasons why.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm finishing now.
All right, thank you.
So I reckon as a quarterly basis, we take ourselves to the public, and that's, you know, been suggested or as required. So that's the reason why I put forward the foreshadowed motion that I have.
Thank you, Councillor Maslin. We'll go back to the substantive motion. If that fails, then I'll be asking for a seconder, and we'll move on with that. So back to the substantive motion. Do we have any further speakers for the substantive motion? Do we have any further speakers against the substantive motion? Council, I will speak to this motion. I think it's really important. Yes, councillors are every councillor I think on our council is a business person that has a business to manage and run, etc. Losing effectively just about a whole day in the current system, especially for myself, does become a bit of a burden. So to be able to come in at 5:30 and get most of your day's work completed is a great advantage, I see it. And that's one of the main reasons I would prefer to see the time changed. I understand a lot of Councillor Maslin's reasons for not supporting it, but I think it's important that councillors are happy in what they're doing and not feeling like their business is suffering too much. So I think that's a critical part of it. Going to Coral Bay is always going to be expensive, but to not try and engage with the Coral Bay community, who once again are most of the community that are ratepayers in Coral Bay are also business owners, if not all of them. And they also have a business that they want to be running as well. So to be up there and having at least one meeting a year where they can come in, and it's only in the very recent past that they've stopped attending. I can remember just about every one of them being there on council day, but it becomes a burden for that to happen. But if we make an effort to be there, I'm sure they would understand there is a cost to that. We won't be doing it at every meeting. Once a year is probably not really even quite enough, but once a year I believe would suit them. So I wholeheartedly support these changes, and I think having the changes will improve what we do. And I'll go back a step too. If we are open to, our council meeting is on out of hours, the community doesn't have an excuse at all to not come and attend a council meeting and get themselves informed, get it from the horse's mouth. Yeah, and at times people have said, no, nobody turns up. People will turn up, I believe, if they are genuine. If it fails, in 6 months' time, we review it. So I think if we don't do it, then how do we really know? And we can go back to the public then and say, well, we tried, guys, you didn't turn up, or you did turn up, and we're going to keep going. So I think that's an important thing to consider. Thank you. With that, would you like to close the debate, Councillor Kelly?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I think you've summed it up very well. I do understand Councillor Maslin, although not speaking against the motion in his foreshadowed or alternative motion, that there are some valid reasons, but again, I think this is a demonstrative act or gesture to our community that we have listened to them. They want more accessibility to council meetings, and if we can't work it at 5:30, well, it's never going to work. So 6 months' time, we'll see what comes out. So I'll close.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. So, councillors, with that, I'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? That motion was lost. What have we got? 4-2. Four, councillor, it's a two. So we have a foreshadowed motion. Do I have a seconder for that motion, please? Councillor Cottrell. Is everybody clear on the proposed new?
So can I,
Timing.
just through the chair, can I read that out, just so that I have it? So what we're saying then is on the third Tuesday, as we have it here, the agenda forum will continue to be at 8:30. And then on the fourth Tuesday, the council meeting will now be at 9 a.m. And the resulting audit and risk and or major projects will then be at 10:30.
Yes. They'll go back to back.
Well, they've been sort of, yes,
Yeah.
different, but yes.
Yeah. Same.
So,
And
and
no,
the Coral Bay will be a council meeting at 10 a.m.
I thought major projects.
Oh, sorry, major projects or audit and risk
Audit and risk, and then council meeting at 12.
at 10 and then council meeting at 12. Okay. That's the foreshadowed motion. Yeah, yeah. Want to continue, President?
Yeah, so is everybody quite clear on those times? Councillors, do you wish to speak again for your motion, Councillor Maslin?
Yes, I do. Well, I understand there is why this is coming forward in regards to having further engagement with the community. Like I said, the constituents have a reason to be here, then they'll turn up, they'll show up, and they'll be here. The only time other people are here is if it's to do with the blowholes or some other contentious issues. The added expense I've already mentioned in regards to accommodation and meals and overnighting for the staff and councillors simply just doesn't pass the pub test, especially with our budget in the state it is at the moment. Not to mention the staff overtime and impost on basically losing overnight and travel back the next day. So I understand why you're trying to do it, but with the added technology of recording, live streaming, playback, and able to submit questions, having access to your councils on a daily basis, I think this foreshadowed motion will still work the best for council and also be still open and transparent to the community by way of these public forums or community meetings to be held at least quarterly, where we take ourselves out to the public rather than the public come to us. So with that, I urge the council to support my foreshadowed motion.
Are there any speakers against the motion?
Just a question, Mr. President, from us.
Councillor.
Why do we have, why is it suggested that we have the Coral Bay meeting in May? It's a tourist season. I just think we're probably better if it's at the summer end of the year, like at the beginning or the end of the year, because you travel up in the good daylight, you get back in daylight. It's a safety thing as well. I mean, if we're coming back in May, we're up there in the tourist season. There's a lot of people in Coral Bay, and that's good. But the thing is, after the council meeting in May, you come back, it's dark by 6:30.
Maybe we changed the time. We've changed the time. In my foreshadowed motion, we've changed the
Oh,
time.
in the shadow,
Yeah,
sorry, I've just looked at it.
No, we've
Right.
changed the time.
And
Okay.
through the chair, May is because the school holidays interrupted April.
Yep.
And March, we run the risk of there not being very many people.
Yep, fair enough. No, yeah. I should have looked at the times, you're right. Good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, we've changed the time, so it's morning.
So there are no speakers against the motion?
No.
Any further speakers for the motion? There being no further speakers, all those in favour, councillors? That's 1-5-1. Thank you, Mrs. Hill. Councillors, item 7.1.2, status of council decisions, November 2024. The council notes the status of the council decisions. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Maslin, Councillor B. Maslin. Councillor Kelly, did you second that? Thank you. Is there any debate, councillors?
No debate, but I do commend the CEO on getting this together. It's actually back to that transparency. Our community can see the progress of our motions through to action. And obviously if there's any hold-ups or problems along the way, they'll be fairly apparent from the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. I'll take that as a speaker for the motion. Are there any speakers against the motion? Any further speakers for the motion? There being no further speakers, councillors, all those in favour? That's adopted unanimously. Mrs Hill, 6-0. Item 7.1.3, new lease request, Amplitel. This is the information of the tower on the airport. Councillors, Councillor B. Maslin, you're moving that motion. Okay, councillor, we've got two hands in the air. Who's seconding it? Councillor Kelly. Is there any debate, councillors? There being no debate, that's adopted unanimously. Thank you, councillors, for they'll receive the minutes of the item 7.1.4, the minutes of the Gascoyne Country Zone meeting. I have a mover, please. Councillor B. Maslin. A seconder, please. Councillor Farina. I'd like to, before I call for... Oh, sorry. Is there any debate, councillors? There being no debate, but prior to announcing it, I'd like to thank the CEO for bringing this in, because it's very good to get the reports for the minutes into council so they see exactly what's going on with their zone. So thank you very much. So councillors, being no debate, that's adopted unanimously, 6-0, thank you. Item 7.1.5, minutes of the Gascoyne Regional Road Group. Mover, please, Councillor Kelly. Councillor B. Maslin, seconded. Councillors, is there any debate? There being no debate, that's adopted unanimously, thank you. This is 7.2.1, accounts paid under delegated authority. Councillor B. Maslin. Seconder is Councillor Farina, thank you. Councillors, is there any debate? There being no debate, that's adopted unanimously. Thank you, Mrs Hill. Item 7.2.2, budget adjustments. This one's by absolute majority of councillors. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor B. Maslin. Councillor Farina. Is there any debate, councillors? There being no debate, that's adopted 6-0. Thank you, Mrs Hill. Item 7.2.3, monthly financial reports. The mover, please. Councillor B. Maslin. Seconder, please. Councillor Kelly. Councillor, is there any debate? Discussion. There being none, that's adopted unanimously. Thank you, Mrs Hill. 6-0. Item 7.2.4, the 23-24 audited annual financial reports for adoption by absolute majority. Councillor Kelly, you are moving that motion. Councillor B. Maslin, seconded. Councillors, is there any debate, discussion or comments?
I'll speak for the motion, Mr President. Unfortunately, I don't have Councillor Vanderloo next to me, who is a qualified auditor. I recommend to my fellow councillors that we adopt the councillors, or the officer's recommendation. I think we also should note, although I wasn't a councillor at the time, there's a number of councillors here, including our president, where council have been through probably somewhat adverse audits over a number of years, which adds to the workload and stress of our staff. So again, as I did at the agenda forum, I'd just like to note the good work to get the audit in a position where it's almost a non-event in 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Kelly. Councillors, is there any speakers against the motion? Any further speakers for the motion? There being no further speakers, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you, Mrs Hill. 6-0. Item 7.3.1, the Shire of Carnarvon Planning Scheme number 13, Amendment 9. Councillors. Bit of a long one. Absolute majority as well. Councillor Maslin, you've got your hand. Burke Maslin, sorry. Okay, two hands again. Who was first? Councillor Kelly. Thank you, Councillor Farina. Is there any debate, councillors?
I just speak to the motion.
You may speak to the motion. Yeah, open the debate.
So the debate, hopefully there won't be any debate. Common sense in this case will prevail, and I commend the Shire officers, planning, Stephen Lau on this. And I think, yeah, as I began with, common sense should prevail. This supports our local businesses by this change of scheme amendment. This is basically pretty much in line with similar opportunities that are available out in the industrial area, and being in a location with mixed use anyway, it basically adds to the extra supply of accommodation which we're lacking in, and it supports the local businesses that operate out of those premises. So I urge council to support it wholeheartedly.
Councillors, are there any speakers against the motion? Any further speakers for the motion? Put it to the vote. All those in favour? It's adopted unanimously, Mrs Hill. Thank you. 6-0. Councillors, moving right along. Item 7.3.2, Coral Bay Settlement Structure Plan Review, Stage 1. Have a mover, please. Councillor Farina, sorry. Councillor Cottrell, seconded. Councillors, is there any debate on this item? There being no debate, that's adopted unanimously. Thank you, Mrs Hill. 6-0. This is item 7.3.3, Community Growth Fund Round 3. Councillors, a mover, please. Who has had their hand up first? I haven't called for it. We've both got hands up.
Yeah, me.
Councillor Kelly, seconding it. Do you want to wait until I call for it? Do you want to wait until I call for it? Well, I'll turn around after I've called for it and I've got two hands in the air. So, councillors, is there any debate on this item? There being no debate, that's adopted unanimously. Thank you, Mrs Hill. Councillors, 7.3.4, Citizen of the Year Awards. It's all right, I've just remembered something. Do I have a mover, please? Councillor Kelly. Seconder, please. Councillor Maslin. B. Maslin, sorry, Mrs Hill. Councillors, is there any debate? There being no debate, that's adopted unanimously, Mrs Hill. Thank you. 6-0. Item 7.3.5, the ECU Tax Clinic 2025 waiver of fees. Move it, please, Councillor Kelly. Seconder, please, Councillor B. Maslin. Is there any debate, councillors? There being no debate, that's adopted unanimously. Thank you, Mrs Hill. 6-0. Infrastructure services, there is nil. Applications for leave of absence. Do we have any applications for leave of absence for January yet? Motions of which previous notice has been given. There is nil. Questions from members without notice.
There you go.
Councillor
Sorry.
Maslin.
Thank you, Mr President. Just not exactly a question, but I think it would be remiss if we don't recognise the effort that the Christmas street party people put on in the street all night. It was a first-class thing, and people that think can over and say divided community should go to these things, because I've never seen such a cosmopolitan group of people getting on really well together. And I think that the people that organise that, a lot of effort goes into that, and I think we all agree as council. I'm not moving on from me, I know we all think the same, but I think it's be remiss if council doesn't acknowledge the efforts put in by those people. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Maslin. Did you have a question, Councillor Maslin?
I just more or less had some long lines of the councillor, just in regards to, I'd like to congratulate CEO Mandy, who recently got down to the top 3 out of 150 nominations for a public service award, which is,
Well done.
should be commended on.
Absolutely.
Probably just as well you didn't win, and we'd have to pay you more. Jokes aside. And in further reflection and discussion with my fellow councillor, Councillor Kelly, just in regards to the meeting that was held in Coral Bay previously, by way of a fresh start in the new year, I'd just like you to step forward and, explain his discussion.
Thank you, Councillor Maslin. We all have our different ways of thinking. Mine might be different than others, but I do acknowledge that my question was out of order without first having to discuss it with our President. I will take the time next time, as I have done with an item I put up, which will come up to CIS at the next meeting. There was, again, reiterate, there was no disrespect. Probably one of those things when those sort of matters do make my blood boil a little bit, so please bear with me, but I'll, with all sincerity, look forward to working harmoniously and collaboratively with you next year and the years after.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Item 11, urgent business approved by the presiding member or by a decision of council. Matters for which the meeting be closed to the public. There are nil. Date of the next meeting will be...
Well, I know it'll be in the morning.
20.
9 a.m. on Tuesday
Coffee
the
shop, eh?
28th of January.
Councillors, thank you. So with that, council, the meeting is closed.
Thank you.
At 1:35 p.m.